When tasting wine, it's common to find aromas and flavours of spice, vanilla, oak and tobacco. Very often, these characteristics are due to the oak barrels that the wine is fermented or matured in during the winemaking process. But it wasn't for this reason that wine was initially kept in barrels. Rather, it was a happy accident that dates back to the Roman times. During long sea voyages, wine was a staple for the Roman troops and merchants. Though clay pots were the original vessel of choice, after discovering the abundance of oak forests in Europe, oak barrels were adopted as the primary means of transporting their precious liquids. Not only was oak abundant and relatively malleable, it was also airtight due to the fine grain of the wood. After some time, the Romans realized that the oak barrels were also changing the flavors of their wines, adding further complexity and richness. This practice of using oak barrels has become an integral part of winemaking and is routinely practiced all around the world. The wine barrel trade is now a large global industry, with decommissioned wine barrels often being sold on for production of spirits and beer. Winemakers will usually purchase their barrels from barrel makers, known as coopers, each of which will have their own style. However, a handful of Bordeaux chateaux have their own in-house cooper, such as Smith Haute Lafitte on Bordeaux's left bank.
Eh bien voilà, ici vous êtes donc dans la tonnellerie de Smith Haute Lafitte. Ma production à peu près de 3 barriques par jour.
Ok,
Voilà.
waouh, quand même.
Quand même,
Ouais.
ça fait à peu près 500 barriques par an. Donc le process, eh bien, il faut, on va dire, la chauffe, ça c'est très important. Donc on va la mettre sur le feu pour en premier la serrer à l'aide du câble, le feu, voilà, on va mouiller, ça va assouplir le chêne.
Le feu est à l'intérieur.
Voilà, le feu est à l'intérieur, voilà.
Ok.
Là c'est des braises beaucoup plus douces. Après on la remettra sur le feu pour faire le toasting. Hein, voilà. Donc ce toasting sera différent si c'est pour un vin blanc ou pour un vin rouge, parce que ça apportera des notes différentes. Voilà. Alors les notes, pour les rouges, ça sera beaucoup plus épicé, café torréfié. Et pour les blancs, un peu plus doux, vanillé, amande, voilà.
Ok, et donc là, petit à petit, on resserre.
Voilà, on
Et
resserre.
on arrive à créer
Voilà, la forme
emblématique d'un fût. tout
d'un fût,
simplement.
voilà. Il faudra à peu près 1 heure en tout
Ok, super.
de chauffe.
Fine wines around the world tend to use French oak barrels sourced from forests located in the heart of France. However, California, as well as Eastern Europe, also produce high-quality oak barrels, which are also used in many regions.
What sort of flavours does this specific type of oak give to the wines?
Alors le chêne français, on va dire, est beaucoup plus doux, des notes beaucoup plus douces, si on doit le comparer au chêne américain qui est lui beaucoup plus chocolaté. Et nous, c'est ce qu'on recherche, vraiment des notes douces, parce qu'il ne faut pas que on va dire, le chêne domine sur le vin. Il faut vraiment que ça soit subtil, que ça apporte des notes supplémentaires en fait, voilà, pour les dégustations, des choses comme ça.
Donc le chêne français est plus doux,
Plus doux,
élégant.
voilà. Après,
peut-être,
ce qui peut se comparer, c'est le chêne d'Europe de l'Est aussi, qui va être un petit peu ressembler au chêne français. Mais voilà, c'est vraiment la Rolls du chêne.
La Rolls du chêne, nice.
It's not only different types of oak that can be used in winemaking, though, as these oak barrels can be recycled and reused, normally around 4 times. Newer oak barrels will have much more intensity of flavour, and as such will require a more powerful wine to match this. The opposite goes for an older barrel. Winemakers will also choose how toasted they want their barrels to be. A lightly toasted barrel can have completely different flavours to a heavily toasted one. Winemakers will even request the specific characteristics that they want from a cooper. Often oak can take time to integrate with a wine, so a wine fermented or matured in a high percentage of new oak will often need time to age and develop in bottle to integrate these flavours before being at its prime.
So of all the oak barrels you use here at Smith Haute Lafitte, what percentage are new barrels and what percentage are reused barrels?
Alors nous, voilà, donc sur l'année, bon, je fais à peu près 500 barriques par an. Ce qu'il faut savoir, c'est que le premier vin passera en barrique neuve.
Okay.
Voilà, lui, le premier vin en barrique neuve. Et le second vin passera en barrique il y a déjà un an en fait. Voilà. Et après, il faut savoir qu'une fois que 2-3 ans après, ben, nous, on revend les fûts, voilà, à des plus petits châteaux qui recherchent moins ce goût de neuf. Et voilà, c'est comme ça qu'il y a un roulement, en fait, un cycle. Disons que c'est justement on va dire le vin a des tanins aussi, et le chêne aussi a des tanins. Donc quand on peut, par exemple, si on met de l'eau dedans et qu'on sort l'eau, on va voir que l'eau va être toute marron parce que c'est ces tanins, voilà, qui vont être transmis voilà, au vin et ça va absorber. Et c'est la chauffe aussi qui est importante parce qu'elle va apporter ces notes différentes qu'on va rechercher voilà, pour le blanc ou pour le rouge, mais c'est le toasting en fait, vraiment comme si on pouvait comparer ça à du pain grillé. Voilà, on toaste vraiment comme on veut le pain.
Oak barrels are actually used for many different types of wine, including sweet wines and even champagne. Stephanie spoke to Alim Bali at Chateau Couttet in the sweet wine appellation of Sauternes-Barsac to understand the role of oak in sweet wine production.
I'm going to take you into the barrel room, and this is a very special room for us at Chateau Couttet because we have over 800 barrels in what is one of the longest cellars in Bordeaux.
Seriously?
So let me turn the lights on.
Oh, wow.
There you go. So now we're in the barrel room.
Yes.
And you're going to see a lot of different oak. We use up to 10 different barrel manufacturers, all French oak, mostly new French oak, because when you're making Sauternes, in the case at Couttet, we're fermenting in the barrel, and we don't want any yeast to be stuck in the barrel, so we need very tight pours.
So what would be the difference in flavor if you didn't ferment it in the barrel?
So the oak component will add some vanilla characteristics. We're not looking actually for a lot of oak characteristics in Sauternes. We're looking for a barrel that is a safe environment for the fermentation process. We only have one fermentation in Sauternes, only the alcoholic fermentation. So if there's anything in the barrel that will encourage a second fermentation, we're going to have some difficulties. Thus, the importance of having a clean, very tight pour barrel.
Okay, and that's the appellation of Sauternes that says that you must vinify and
No,
ferment your wine in the barrel?
So the appellation rules really are how we work the vineyard. There's also some rules in the vinification, but in terms of the barrels, there's no specification of
choice.
that. Yes.
And I imagine that it's a costly choice for you.
Yes, absolutely. Barrels are a very big investment every year, especially in our case, we're using up to 90%, 100% new oak barrels. We're going to keep some of the one-year barrels for example, our second wine. But yes, every year we're trying to bring in as many new barrels as possible. And we're going to adjust our toast based on the characteristic of the wines.
So how much does a barrel cost?
We're looking at a range from 600 euros to over 1,000 euros per barrel.
Wow, so it's a hefty investment.
Absolutely, yes.
So why is oak more expensive than stainless steel?
You have to take into account raw material. So you need to get the wood. Then there's definitely the knowledge, the savoir-faire, if you will, of the cooper. So all those elements come to a piece of artwork, if you will.
It's no doubt that oak barrels are integral to the process of winemaking, and there really aren't any substitutes that can achieve the same characteristics and complexity that they bring to wine. Wine trends are cyclical, however, and currently the heavy use of oak is diminishing, but oak is still a fundamental tool used by producers. Winemakers are now looking for the most sustainable methods of using oak barrels so that their wines will taste as good as ever.